Is your male cat a giant, goofy love bug? A purring, rumbling shadow who follows you from room to room with the social grace of a golden retriever, demanding belly rubs and collapsing into a fluffy heap on your lap the second you sit down? And is your female cat a dignified, sleek queen? A majestic sovereign who observes the household from her throne on the highest point of the cat tree, who grants affection on her terms, with a delicate headbutt and a purr so soft you can barely hear it? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. The great debate between male and female cats is one of the oldest and most passionate topics among pet lovers. We all have our stories, our experiences, our firmly held beliefs. Maybe a veterinarian once told you that male kittens love being held, while the little females are more likely to squirm away. We build these pictures in our minds, these neat little boxes of tomcat and queen. But how much of that is a genuine, biological difference? And how much is just a collection of myths we've all come to accept as fact? What if I told you that the reality is far more complex, far more surprising, and infinitely more fascinating than simple stereotypes? Today, we are pulling back the curtain. We are going beyond the hearsay and diving deep into the science, the behavior, and the subtle truths of our feline companions. We are exploring 7 crucial truths that bust the biggest myths about male and female cats, and I promise you, some of these will completely change the way you see that little creature currently sleeping on your keyboard. But before we dive in, let's be absolutely clear about one thing. For this discussion, we are almost exclusively talking about the personalities and behaviors of spayed and neutered cats. This is incredibly important. The act of neutering or spaying is the single biggest factor in shaping a domestic cat's adult behavior. It dramatically reduces the powerful, hormone-driven actions like aggressive roaming, fighting, and territorial spraying. So, our focus today is on the cats who are our companions, the ones sharing our homes, our hearts, and our everyday lives. Alright, with that crucial point established, are you ready? Let's get to our first truth, and it's a big one. The most common myth of all is that male cats are simply friendlier, while female cats are aloof and standoffish. You hear it everywhere. Get a boy, they're more cuddly. This idea is so widespread, it has probably influenced thousands of adoption decisions. But here's the thing, it's not true. Or, at least, it's not that simple. The truth isn't that males are friendlier, it's that they often have a different style of showing affection. What scientific studies and countless anecdotal reports actually suggest is a fascinating difference between needing attention and wanting attention. Many neutered male cats retain a very kitten-like personality their entire lives. They are often more outgoing, more overtly social, and more, well, needy. They actively seek you out. They'll climb into your lap, interrupt your work, and flop down in front of you, demanding interaction. They need to be part of the action. This constant, obvious display of affection is what leads us to label them as more loving. They wear their hearts on their fluffy sleeves. Female cats, on the other hand, love their owners just as deeply and form bonds that are just as strong. But they often express it with more subtlety and independence. A spayed female might not be a lap cat, but she will show her love by choosing to be in the same room with you, always. She'll greet you at the door with a quiet chirp. She'll give you that slow, trusting blink from across the room, the ultimate sign of feline love. She wants your attention, but she often prefers it on her own terms. She is the master of her own destiny, and her affection is a gift, not a demand. It's the difference between a needy, overgrown kitten who needs constant reassurance, and a confident, loving partner who chooses to share her precious time with you. Neither one is better. Neither one means they love you more or less. It's just their style. Alright, let's talk looks. There's a persistent belief that you can spot a male cat from a mile away because of his big, round, chubby-cheeked face. We call them tomcat jowls, and they give males that distinctly robust, almost bulldog-like appearance. And while this can be true, it's another myth based on a partial truth. Those big, puffy cheeks are a secondary sexual characteristic in unneutered male cats. They are literally battle armor. The hormone testosterone causes the development of these thick, tough pads of skin on their cheeks to protect them from bites and scratches during vicious territorial fights over mates and resources. But here's the key. A male cat that was neutered early, before he reached full sexual maturity around 6 to 12 months, never got that massive testosterone surge. His body never received the signal to build up that facial armor. As a result, his facial structure will remain much sleeker, much narrower, and often completely indistinguishable from a female's. So that fluffy boy you adopted as a kitten, who now has a delicate, tapered face, he's just as much of a male as the burly stray tomcat in the neighborhood. You just can't tell by his cheeks. The same goes for size. On average, male cats are slightly larger and heavier than females. But this is just an average. Genetics and breed play a far greater role. There are countless petite male cats and plenty of large, solid female cats who could easily outweigh them. So, If you're trying to guess a cat's gender just by its size or its face, you might be in for a surprise at the next vet visit. This is where things get really interesting, and where one of the biggest misconceptions lives. The myth is simple. Male cats spray to mark their territory, and female cats don't. Let's bust this wide open. First, while territorial spraying is most common in unneutered tomcats driven by hormones, females absolutely can and do spray. A female cat, spayed or not, might spray if she feels stressed, threatened, is dealing with a medical issue, or is in conflict with another cat in the home. But here is the real shocker. The part that flips the whole stereotype on its head. After cats are spayed or neutered, their entire social dynamic can change. Unneutered males are driven to patrol and defend a large physical territory. Once neutered, that hormonal drive vanishes. Many male cats become far more sociable and relaxed, often getting along famously with other cats. Meanwhile, many spayed females can become more territorial, but in a very different way. Her territory isn't the entire neighborhood anymore, it's the microcosm of your home. She may become fiercely territorial over specific, high-value resources. We're talking about her favorite spot on the sofa, her particular food bowl, the sunny patch by the window from 2 to 4 p.m., and, most importantly, her favorite human. She might not pick a fight, but she will make her ownership known with a cold, hard stare, a low grumble, or a swift but gentle bopping on the head of any other pet who dares to invade her space. So while the male cat might be happily sharing a bed with the dog, the female cat is often the one quietly, but firmly, running the entire household. Truth number 4. Their health risks are different, and you need to know them. Okay, let's pause for a moment and talk about something incredibly important. This isn't about personality or cuddliness, it's about their health and well-being. The myth is that, aside from the obvious reproductive parts, male and female cats are basically the same on the inside. This is dangerously untrue. Each gender faces a unique set of serious, gender-specific health challenges that every responsible owner needs to be aware of. For female cats, the primary risks are tied to their reproductive system. They are susceptible to mammary tumors, which are malignant in over 85% of cases in cats. They can also develop a severe, life-threatening uterine infection called pyometra. This is a horrific condition where the uterus fills with pus, and if it's not treated emergently, it can rupture, leading to sepsis and death. The good news? Having your female cat spayed, which removes the uterus and ovaries, almost completely eliminates the risk of both of these deadly conditions. It is, without a doubt, a life-saving procedure. Male cats, on the other hand, face a different, but equally terrifying enemy, their own plumbing. They are highly prone to urinary tract issues, specifically urethral blockages. Their urethra is much longer and narrower than a female's, making it easy for tiny crystals or stones to form and create a plug. When this happens, the cat cannot urinate. Toxins build up in his body, his bladder can rupture, and it can lead to kidney failure and death in as little as 24 to 48 hours. It is a critical medical emergency. As some very experienced owners have pointed out, this can be a recurring and serious issue even in neutered males, making regular vet checkups and a close eye on their litter box habits absolutely essential for their long-term health. Understanding these different risks isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to empower you. Knowing what to watch for is the first step in being a proactive, life-saving pet parent. Truth number 5. It's not calmness versus energy. It's playfulness versus dominance. There's a common idea that female cats are just calmer, more mature versions of males. That as they age, they become serene and quiet while the boys stay rambunctious. Again, this misses the beautiful nuance of their social dynamics. It's often less about energy level and more about their social role in the home. Many neutered males, as we've discussed, maintain that playful, clumsy, overgrown kitten energy for years. They are often the ones who initiate rough and tumble play, wrestling with other cats, chasing toys with wild abandon, and generally acting like goofy court jesters. Many spayed females, however, mature into the role of the undisputed matriarch, the true head of the household. She may be less interested in chaotic play and more focused on establishing and maintaining social order. She is the queen overseeing her domain. Her interactions are often less about play and more about communication and hierarchy. That calm demeanor you see isn't necessarily a lack of energy. It's the quiet confidence of a leader. She will make her preferences perfectly clear to the other pets, not with wild wrestling matches, but with a meaningful look, a specific posture, or that swift, decisive bop on the head to remind everyone exactly who is in charge. So, after all this talk about gender, how do you actually, physically tell the difference, especially when you're looking at a tiny, fluffy, 8-week-old kitten? Here's a bonus truth that is incredibly practical. It's the vet-approved method, and it's all about geometry. You need to look at the distance and the shape of the two openings under the tail. For a female kitten or cat, Look for what resembles an upside-down exclamation mark. You have the anus at the top, and then the vertical slit of the vulva is located very close beneath it, usually less than half an inch away. It forms a distinct eye shape. For a male kitten or cat, you're looking for what resembles a colon, those two dots. You have the anus at the top, and the opening for the penis is located much further down, usually more than half an inch or even a full inch away in adult cats. And right in between those two dots, you'll find a small pouch which contains the testicles. The key is the distance. That significantly greater distance between the two openings is the most reliable sign of a male, even if he has already been neutered and the testicles are gone. It's a simple trick that can save you a lot of guessing. So, after all these myths and all these truths, what's the real, ultimate difference between male and female cats? What is the one factor that rises above all others? The most important truth is that your cat's gender is one of the least important things about them. The single biggest predictor of your cat's personality, their affection level, and their bond with you will always be a combination of two things: their individual, unique personality and their early life socialization. A cat, male or female, that was handled gently and lovingly by humans from a young age is far more likely to be a confident, trusting, and affectionate adult. A cat that was born on the streets and had to fight for its survival will naturally be more cautious and reserved, regardless of its gender. The home you build for them, the patience you show, the safety you provide, the trust you earn, that is what shapes the beautiful soul you share your life with. The emotional environment you create is the fertile ground where their love for you grows. Whether that love is expressed as a clumsy, needy cuddle puddle, or a quiet, dignified presence at your side, it is real, it is profound, and it has absolutely nothing to do with stereotypes. Every cat is an individual, an amazing, quirky, hilarious, loving individual. And getting to know that unique spirit is the greatest joy of being a cat owner. So, now we have to ask you, does your male or female cat fit these truths? Or are they a total, glorious exception to the rule? Share their unique story in the comments below. We read them all and we love hearing about the incredible diversity of cats out there. And if this guide was helpful, if you learned something new today, please do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Why Cats Do That. Your support is what allows us to keep creating more valuable, in-depth content for cat lovers everywhere. Thank you so much for watching. Now go give your cat some love. On their terms, of course.